Hey everyone, it's Bob Milburn with another FinOp Controller webcast. This week we're going to do a high-level review of internal control for ops. Normally when talking about internal control, it's directed toward accounting, even though it's applicable to other areas within the firm. Before we get started, I want to state this presentation is for educational purposes only. It's designed to give an overview of COSO's internal control framework. It's not legal advice. While internal controls have a bad rep, they have some positive qualities. The best one is that they help you get the job done with a consistent level of quality. Be aware, though, that internal controls are not a guarantee. Any system designed by humans can be defeated. And it's not just people trying to undermine the system. It's simple mistakes due to inattention, tiredness, or untrained staff. When relying on controls, you have to consistently monitor them for effectiveness. The framework for internal control consists of 5 components as seen here. We'll give an overview of each component in the subsequent slides. The components can be used to achieve operations objectives, as well as financial and compliance objectives. For this presentation, we are focusing on operations. While each component is important, the environment component is the key to the entire control framework. If management doesn't demonstrate integrity and embrace ethical decision-making, then the staff will follow and not support the control system. On this slide, we discuss what middle management can control, which is hiring and training competent staff members. Risk assessment requires knowledge of the department's objectives and processes. Here we're looking for the connections between the tasks that make up a process. What can go wrong based on human error, mistakes, and attempts to override the controls? Control activities are the controls that we're most familiar with when we're talking about internal controls. They are the separation of duties, passwords, limitations on the ability to authorize payments, reconciliations, and management reviews that we see on a daily basis. Communication is required up and down the organization, as well as to outside entities such as regulators and investors. In this instance, we're trying to communicate how well the controls are working. The communication should be timely and given to the staff so deficits can be corrected, as well as to management for oversight and understanding how well controls are working. While you might think that monitoring the effectiveness of controls is the job of internal audit, consider the 3 lines of defense risk model. The first line is management of the processes in question. They own the controls, and it's their responsibility to test and verify they are working. The second line is risk management and compliance departments, with internal audit being the 3rd line of defense. In short, you can't rely on internal audit to tell you when the system is broken and that it needs to be fixed. As with all processes, there are limitations to internal control systems. Human judgment can be faulty and simple mistakes are made, especially under stress. Controls can be overridden by management or by collusion. And finally, there can be external events that are beyond the firm's control that render the controls ineffective. That's it for this webcast. If you found it interesting, please share it with your friends. In addition, if you or your staff need help, I'm available for accounting and regulatory work. Thanks again, and stay safe.